let's talk about RuPaul's Drag Race. So episode 2 premiered on Friday. And yes, I did watch it as soon as I got up in the house. I was like, let me put this show on because I am loving this season. I'm absolutely loving this season with the new girls. Definitely having a great time with them. And I'm loving every bit of it. So we're getting to know the 14 queens. Nobody went home in last week's episode. We saw that they had the top 2 girls, Nene Coco and who's the other one that performed? Why I forget her name? The black girl. Not Candy Pleaser. I'm still getting to know these girls over on the show. So wait, who would you say? Oh no, that's somebody else. So anyway, so we had a top 2, whatever they sang. I mean, they performed or whatever. It was cute. I think somebody actually mentioned something that I thought was really cool, and they said that would have probably been a key. I know what it was. It was Classic Tiara when I was watching that show with Bianca Del Rio. They said now it would have been a cute twist if they would have had the 2 winners perform right and one of them had to choose a girl to sashay away. I'm like, yes, that would have been a good twist, but Drag Race would have never did nothing like that. That would have been a good twist. Unfortunately, they didn't give us that. So, yeah, so Vita Von T Star. I don't know why I drew a blank, but I'm still getting to know and remember these girls, so it's going to take me a minute. So, yeah, we had a top 2, Nene Coco and Vita Von T Star, which they definitely ate up in the thing. Nene, of course, did their big one. I love seeing the fact that Discord Adams was pissed off at her because she didn't get the win and all that other stuff. I'm like, girl, it is what it is. Just be mad that you didn't get picked in this situation or you didn't win in this situation. You and Jane Don't. Now, don't get me wrong. I did like Jane Done's outfit. I thought Jane Don't should have been. Wait, was she in the top 3 if I remember correctly? She just didn't get picked as the top 2. But I just love the fact that now we know Discord's Achilles heel. They could play that up on the show because you know how these producers are. These producers is messy. So after all of that, then they have the main challenge where we get into episode 2, where now they have to do a girl group challenge, which is our winners. Nene Coco and Vita Von T Star have to do like a schoolyard pick, where basically they get to pick their girl group and then they got to choose amongst the 3 songs that the girls want. And then the girls they don't pick end up being they're automatically made into a girl group, which I was like, oh, this is gonna be messy. So the girls started picking who they were picking, and then they had the girl groups, which was like, okay, so what was the music? Then there was something that was based off disco, which is based off Sylvester. Did not like the song. I was like, y'all doing Sylvester? It was not giving Sylvester. It's giving like, remember if y'all watch Queer's Folk, like one of the things we love about Queer's Folk is the music, but when you watch like the version on Showtime and all these other places, that the music basically sounds like cheap knockoffs of the original songs that they can no longer afford because the music expired. That's what those songs be giving me. None of those songs was good. The only song that I liked was the punk song that was based off Susie and the Banshees and that sort of thing, and you know that whole vibe. And the Runaways, I was thinking, like when it was given like sort of that vibe, that's the only song I like, the punk song. All the other, I didn't like the disco one. I didn't like the song that was based around George Michael. Like to me, honestly, I would have really have liked them to pick a different song that was inspired by, like Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. Yeah, that's the most popular song that they have. Everybody's familiar with that track. But that wasn't one of the, I would have liked them to have picked something else from the Wham era. That would have probably been a much bigger bop, but that's just me. So they wound up picking their girl groups. I was trying to remember to see if and one of the things that was up that pissed them off was, well, especially Athena Dion. She was mad because she didn't get picked. So the leftover girls were Didi Fuego, who, you know, we like to call a mandatory meeting over here because she kind of does favor her. Darlene Mitchell, Mandy Mango, and Athena Dion. And I think they didn't pick Mandy because Mandy was in the bottom. Athena, a lot of their ideas, or especially on that, especially Nene Coco saying that I didn't pick her because she kind of gives off like she's not a team player. And no shade. I think it's because Athena's personality is very much, I am the icon. I am the grande dame of drag. She's not up there on the level as like Sasha Colby. She's not on the same level as her. Like everybody and their mama know who Sasha Colby was before she came on the show. But Athena Dion is very well known in Florida circles and a lot of the drag circles. not necessarily in the mainstream, but she definitely has like a big name for herself. And I guess people felt like maybe she was a little too big for her britches, that they didn't want to pick her. So they left her in the other group, and she was seething the entire episode. So she was definitely upset about the whole thing, and I was cackling. So the girl groups that were created, they had, as I said, so yeah, so Athena was, well, they have the girl groups. Athena was mad. She was like, y'all not gonna make a fool out of me in this damn episode. So, and then so we get to the whole situation where they gotta, once they're picked, then they, of course, you already knew it was coming. They had to argue over who landed which of the 3 song options. Everybody wanted fucking disco. So, because, you had Vita's team, it was Briar Blush, Juicy, and Jane, which they ended up picking the punk rock track Cherries, which I thought was a good move. But then Vita said that was her plan all along. She just wanted to piss off Athena. So then Nene, Mia, Sierra, Mikey, and Kenya wound up getting the pop track Go Go Go, which was inspired by Wham. And then the leftovers, Athena, Dee Dee, Darlene, and Mandy, they basically got disco, which was called Funko Mighty, which was inspired by Sylvester. Now, of course, when they got around to doing the dance part and then all that other stuff, there were some girls that was up there struggling. But I love the fact that, they were smart to grab Mia. That Nene's team wound up picking Mia because Mia ate with her dancing choir. And first of all, I have the biggest crush on Mia. I think Mia is so cute. Out of drag. So so then they had to do the choreography, and then Mia basically led the team through their steps, doing a full-on, basically showed a whole playbook. But you know how like she a coach for a football team or whatever, and was showing like, this is the plan and everything I got in regards to the dancing. The girls were picking it up, and it was great. So then, Discord basically got called out by the judges for her runway walk. I did find it funny that Michelle did cackle at her walk again. And it's crazy because nobody can sit and tell her about the walk unless I think the judges got to bring it up. But I think the producers like, for now, let's all have a kiki over this situation. So they can't really bring it up because you have to remember, the girls don't get to see each other walk. They walk twice. One with music, one without music. So they do the walk or whatever, and Michelle says what she says, and the girls don't see each other on how they walk the runway, so they can't critique and be like, girl, you need to, let me help you with your walk. Because that walk is a choice. So then after they did all the, the choreographers, I think the ones that were struggling was Athena's team, because Athena said she's not necessarily a dancer. She did have some girls that was on that team with some left feet. And their music, the choreography was so basic. I was like, it's not giving disco. Like, to me, whenever I think of disco's choreography is very intricate. And so you can't just be doing this whole like, I mean, you need like stuff like that. Like, you got to do, a lot of those different crazy moves or whatever the case is. You can't just be like you on fucking Broadway doing Fosse. Like, when you doing disco, I be thinking of, if you ever watched the show So You Think You Can Dance, like a lot of the crowd, I'm not saying you gotta lift people up and twirl them in the air and do all other stuff. A lot of them girls don't look like they got that upper body strength. But if you're gonna do some choreography, you gotta bring a little more to it. But the problem was nobody on that team were like dancers or somebody who knows how to do choreography. So I guess they try to do it come up with something as basic as possible and hope that the judges would give them a pass. But in that situation, it didn't work. So now we get to the main challenge in regards of the whole situation. As I do a picture switch, because we got to come with like all the different things. So as they got ready for their performances, Jane basically started some mess by asking Athena how she felt about not being picked. I'm like, here we go. That was production telling her to do that for one of the girl groups, and basically said she felt plucked, gagged, and flabbergasted. So Nene basically had to tell her that the reason why she didn't pick her was that you always want to make it the Athena show. So the leftovers team, basically they backed Athena and, for working really well with them, and they felt confident. They showed the other groups how, they shouldn't have been disregarded. But last I checked, didn't we see a scene where it was kind of like Didi Fuego was kind of like going back and forth, like she wanted to give some of her ideas, but Athena was sort of like taking over, so she really didn't get to project her ideas as much as she would have liked. So to me, y'all said that we was all team players, but then what was that clip we saw before y'all got in the room and started beating y'all faces for the challenge? So which one is it? So I would have loved for them to do like a rewind and then bring that part up. So then after we got, let me tell you, that runway challenge was a cackle. Because after they performed their performance and all this other stuff, then the category was your neck, your back, your pussy, and your crack, which I thought was hilarious that they had T.S. Madison of all judges on that panel for that, because you know her relationship with Kaya and that whole drama that happened with that. So the fact of the matter that they had the neck, your back, your pussy, and your crack as a challenge, as a runway challenge, that was hilarious. And I love the idea of like the girls coming out and accentuating the best parts of their bodies. So it's like, if you got a nice booty, I'm gonna show it off. If you got a nice back, I'm gonna show it off. I'm gonna show off my coochie. And I didn't like Mia's lip because she was trying to do all four in one, but your face was covered. It was like, if you're gonna show neck, back, pussy, and crack and do all the little things with it, we need to see your face. Like I wanted to see. I didn't like the netting over the face and it was like completely covered. So I don't like that. Now, the group that ended up in the bottom was Athena's group for the disco challenge or whatever the case was. And they basically said that they didn't retain the soulfulness of their track, and instead it came across as clunky. But Michelle did, I will say, complimented Athena for being the most draggy drag queen of the season. Well, yeah, she's a drag queen through and through, so she's gonna give you full on drag with that. And I love the fact that they had Dove Cameron on the show, because I'm like, it's been a minute since we had her on there. Yeah, we had her a couple of seasons ago. I can't remember exactly the season she was on. Y'all can let me know in the comments. And the fact that they said that Didi was as stiff as a dick, I did cackle. I was like, there go Maddie with that, with her comment in regards to that. But she basically, and it was like, yeah, Didi, you were kind of stiff. But the judges did definitely agree that Mia showed herself to be basically a star because, for the moment she opened her mouth, and they loved that Jane knew what she wanted to do with her vocal verse and executed it properly. So my favorite happened to be the punk Roxy, as I stated earlier. I love the performance, and my favorite lyrically was Jane Don't. She gave the best lyrics out of all the girls in that whole situation. So, and it's funny how a lot of the other girls were looking to Jane to help them out with their lyrics, to like spice it up a little bit. Even Discord, and she's like, wait a minute, aren't you in a rock group? But I guess if she plays guitar, I don't know if she writes music. But also, I found it quite funny because I did bring this up and I posted it on social media. I was like, when she was talking about how drag has become so Disney-fied, I'm sitting there like, sis, how you talking about how Disney-fied drag has become when you're actually competing on one of the most Disney-fied drag shows on TV? Like, Drag Race is the Disney version of drag. And you talking about how Disney drag has become. Make that make sense. But I get it. It's an opportunity to push yourself out there and be seen, and there's a big audience, and opportunities will come, and the possibility of winning $200,000, whatever. I feel like at this point that prize need to be a little higher. I don't know how we 18 season in $200,000. Like, really, sis? While they giving away millions of dollars on some damn America's Got Talent. MTV got the coins. I don't know why they trying to act cheap. So to get to the end part, Jane Don't anointed the winner of the week, which was well deserved because she was my favorite out of all the girls. And then Darlene and Athena were safe. The bottom two we basically had was yet again Mandy Mango and Didi Fuego, or as I like to say, a mandatory meeting. So yeah, they were our bottom two girls. And they ended up having to lip sync for their life to Dove's song Too Much, which I gagged. I was like, wait a minute now. I ain't never heard this song. That was a bop. I was like, found out Dove from the Disney girl, one of the Disney girls is actually out here putting out one of these electro pop type. But I was like, okay, this is a drag queen song. And no shade, but Dee Dee was stiff up on that stage. The pink loofah that she was running around the stage with, it was just too much. There wasn't a lot of body movement. But I will say this, when Mandy was up there, every time she did a dip, I did cackle because Rue was cackling. So she's like, them dips was clunky. Somebody said death drop, which I shudder. It's not a death drop, it's a dip. If y'all going to use things in ballroom, I need y'all to get the vernacular correct. So, Mandy with them dips and how she was moving, but at least she was being physical. She ripped that dress off, was like, bitch, it's on and popping. Even with no wig, she served. So at the end, after the performance and everything, Mandy basically left her mark. She won the challenge. Even the rap section, she was just like, look to the mouth of her. It was very much giving Coco Montrese. Where he was pointing to the mouth and doing the part when, what was it? It was wasn't Paul Abdul song or something? She did that to her, if I can't remember. So yeah. And then the dips or whatever, where she was doing all of those, even though, like I said, it was a little bit clunky. I was here for it, and she managed to stay. And then Dee Dee was asked to sashay away. So I was not, I was really not expecting Dee Dee to sashay away. I was not expecting her to go home first. I was like, oh, let me find out that Dee Dee is about to be the pork chop of the season. So yeah, she actually ended up getting the chop. It'll be interesting to see what next week's episode is going to bring because they're doing RDR Live, which is basically the Drag Race version of SNL. So it'll be interesting to see how they do with that. I don't even remember who was supposed to be the guest judge or whatever, because I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. I think at that point I was getting tired because I got home late on Friday going into Saturday. So I was like starting to fall asleep a little bit during the deliberations. I nodded off a little bit. And then when that Dove Cameron song came on, it jolted me a lot. I was like, wait a minute, what is that music? And then I just woke up and realized Drag Race was still, so I think I fell asleep for like 2 minutes and then I was awake. But nevertheless, it was a really solid episode. I'm definitely loving the way things are going so far with Drag Race. It's definitely giving me my life. This seemed like the strongest group of girls we've had in a long time. The production is producing. The candidates are relatively strong. The girls are really bringing it with the personalities. And yeah, it's going to start making cuts and we're going to see how it is because now we got the acting challenge. So we're going to see who's able to, who's going to be able to do what they need to do in that. So I'm definitely loving it. And I'm looking forward to seeing next week's episode. I did see that Roscoe's has on the next episode, which premieres tomorrow, they had Roxy and Detox. So that'll be interesting because I know they're going to ask them questions about this drama surrounding Ginger and all that mess in the show so far. And the fact that I also saw an article that Roxy said she's not coming back to compete on Drag Race. I was like, there's really no need to because the season she should have won on, that All-Star season, she didn't win. So why would I want to come back? Y'all played in her face off of that one. So overall, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you think the right person went home? What do you think overall on the competition? Do you think the right person won the challenge? What are you thinking of this season so far? Yeah, we're 2 seasons in, and it's definitely pretty much it's a solid season so far, and I'm liking everything that I'm seeing. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts were on this story in the comments down below.